Hey, I'm Sid, founder at Erlin.
Hey, hi, I'm Akshat, the lead engineer at Erlin AI.
So today we are excited to launch the new shopping feature in Erlin.
So, Sid, let's start first with why this feature really exists.
This feature really exists for two things. A lot of people, there are a lot of platform out there. They are tracking a lot of prompts and getting a lot of data. But what we're trying to, the biggest problem, what we realize is there are a lot of problems to track. So we don't know which prompts to track. And even amongst the prompts which we track, which prompts to focus on, what's going to bring business intent. So the entire goal is not to track, what quality of prompts, but the focus is really on what will make the major business impact.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get started. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you how the search used to work, how the prompts work, and some more details, and then we'll go and demo the feature. Let me start by sharing my screen. Let me know once you're able to see my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Great. So, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. This is very basic. Earlier, the search was primarily about keywords. So user will put the keyword. The pages which had the keywords, they would start ranking, provided there's backlinks and, there's other information. However, when it comes to LLM, it's users type a really long form prompt and we cannot have one specific prompt. That's where I feel the prompt tracking itself is sort of not a greatest idea. We need to track prompt, but we really need to focus on which prompts we track. So whenever user types a prompt, LLM takes this prompt, goes into its knowledge base and understand what user is trying to search for. It turns them into fan out queries, what really matters for finding the real product. Sometimes it adds its own information also, and then it comes out with product. So in this case, we were searching for a mattress for back pain under $1,500 for a couple. So it pulled out all the fan out queries. Let me show you this in real time, how it works and what ChatGPT does. So it's the same prompt. We searched it on ChatGPT. Same prompt, and ChatGPT recommended these mattresses. But the magic is really in what happened in the background. Now, if you look, this is our in-house plugin. We track what ChatGPT is actually doing in the background. So whenever a user asks this question, ChatGPT went to its knowledge base and identified certain products based on certain criteria. It identified those products, and then after that, it ran a local Google shopping search. So it ran a local search in Seattle, Washington, and it ran these queries: hybrid mattress 365 days trial, queen under 1500. So if you see, these were the key requirements for the user. Although ChatGPT already had some product, but it did Google search to revalidate, and then Google gave out these products which qualify all the criteria. It came up with another product, and it came up with bunch of product. Then ChatGPT compiled all the information, and then it presented all the data. And this is the final answer ChatGPT gave. So yeah, that's how it works. So far clear, Akshat?
Yeah, it's clear. Like, this is how ChatGPT or any LLM works behind when you search any prompt.
Yeah, so you search the prompt, it goes to its knowledge base to break into fan out queries, like I mentioned here. It breaks the fan out queries, and then it runs Google search with those fan out queries by taking the fan out queries, and then it comes out with a product list. Google also has its product list. ChatGPT also has its product list based on their knowledge. Now let's see how how the decision happens, and this is very important part of the conversation. Earlier, we had multi-touch funnels where there were multiple pages user used to read. They'll go to affiliate sites. They'll go to multiple. Nowadays, what we see with all the data we have in our backend, people are usually doing the entire buyer's funnel inside one conversation. It really, it most of the time starts with a key event. Key event is a life event. What really happening with somebody's life. Either, in this case, it's someone's having lower back pain. It can be someone getting a new job. It can be getting promotion. It can be getting new responsibility. It starts with, hey, this is what is going in my life. And then conversation goes so on. Once the key event is identified, then, underlying there is some problem they're trying to solve. ChatGPT or the LLMs try to understand what problem they're trying to solve and presents with few solutions. So for example, someone who's having back pain, they can say, okay, see a physio, maybe you need a new mattress, you need a new topper, you need to see a chiropractor, and bunch of things. Once they find the solution, what they start doing is picking up one of the items, and they start doing a deep dive to understand which of the solution is fit for me. So they start researching for it about mattresses or toppers, physio, chiropractors, and everything. Think about this. Traditionally, you'll go to webmd.com and several sites and reading those content. So that's what you get here. Then once they understand that, okay, I've zeroed down on a product, they start comparing the product. This is very straightforward. Everyone knows, but now this is happening in one single conversation. And these stages are very, very important because they need a lot of research. So if you're comparing product, you need to look at various parameters like reviews. What are the product features and descriptions? Which one suits for me? And as the conversation has a context of the user, they are able to do a lot of compare queries within the search. Now the next thing is purchase validation. So they do the final purchase validations within the tool, and that's they ask about reviews, they ask about trial periods, written policies, and everything. This is where ChatGPT or the LLMs are pulling in data from various sites as well as something like Reddit and the social channels. Again, this is another example, so I'm not going to put time in this. This is example of someone having hair thinning. But let's understand how LLM builds the fan out queries. So if user is typing query, it picks up, let's call it keyword, not really fan out query for the sake of convenience. So it figures out what are the problem person is having, and if there's any preferences. It then takes this and also adds knowledge about the user, and then it builds the fan out query. Once user has the fan out query, it pulls a list of products and see which products is fit for them, and that's how it recommends the product. So if we have to go back here and look at how ChatGPT operated here, this was a query. It had a preferred product because it knows that these products offer longer than 100 nights trial, and and then it makes a Google search because it knows more than 100 nights, it's only 365 days. So they start looking for 365 days trial. User never mentioned 365 days trial, but it inferred that and it built that query.
Yes, understood.
Now let's look at how how we using this in our product. So it's let's go to shopping. We want to look at Levi in general as an example. Okay, so it really the most important point before we go deeper into this is to understand that it is not really about the prompts you're tracking, but to understand all the LLMs are going to match your product and product attributes to the user needs. ChatGPT understands the user needs in way more details beyond a keyword. So it has multiple aspects, and your product has multiple aspects. Just because you put a keyword or you put a term, it's not going to match. It needs to match the whole attributes. And that is also the reason why we see like 4 times more conversion rate for traffic which is coming from LLM. In fact, in 6 to 8 times in some cases. So the best way to do this is to understand what the product are, what are the product attributes, and if we are able to communicate those attributes properly, present those attributes properly, and everything in between is taken care of properly, LLMs will start showing up the products to the user. So this is the fundamental things what we need to focus on. If you're, for example, if user is searching for 365 nights trial mattress and your mattress provides only 100 days trial or 30 days trial, that user is not going to buy your product. So there's no point fighting for that. And that's the core philosophy of where we are. Why we build this feature. So let's take an example for example, fitted crew Mercer jeans. So when you go into the shopping, first you're going to see all the product categories which exist on your site. So you'll see all the categories here. From the category, we also pull the revenue data. Revenue data is important so that you can prioritize which products you want to focus more on versus less on. So obviously, if you're running paid campaigns and you're getting more revenue from certain products, you want to work on them first and you want to make sure they get the maximum visibility across the board. This is important. This is even gets crazier and more critical if you have like more than 10,000 products. So then setting a priority, and priority, we chose revenue as a factor because that's what e-commerce is about. So let's start with looking at one of the products. Let's look at Fetid Crew Tea. Once we click on this, what has happened, we figure out what the product is. After getting the product, we identified what are the various attributes of those products. Once these attributes are identified, if you expand this, you'll see that okay, now we have multiple prompts for the same product, and these prompts are at different stages of purchase funnel. What we've saw here, for example, here. So key event, something very top of the funnel. These are compare query. These are the purchase queries. You want to see all of these queries here, and you're going to see purchase intent. How high is the purchase intent? And that's how all these prompts are built. So, for example, what is the softest and most durable fabric for everyday t-shirts? So you'll see here a description of what is the intent behind this prompt. So the actual prompt really doesn't matter, but what really matters is what the intent. Does it connect to the feature your product is, your product attribute, and then the prompt. We also realize, as this is a bit in an early stage, that we may not get the most accurate prompt every time, and based on the business and the product and the user experience, user may want to change the prompt a little bit. You can just click here and edit the prompt and then start tracking. Now, and you can do this for everything. If you want to add more prompts, you can just click on more prompt. You can define which part of the journey you like to see more prompts. You can select those, you see add prompt, and it's going to generate few prompt at that stage of the journey. Now, idea overall is when you start tracking the prompt, your brand should be visible for all the while this is generating. Let's go here. For any brand to win AI search, it is very important to understand what is the sequence. So any product or any brand should start focusing on the lower funnel queries first. So for example, if user is looking for a specific queries, product plus query, brand plus query, what are your trial, what is your policy, the brand should be visible because user or the buyer is looking to buy your product. They are sitting with their credit card ready to buy, and they're just validating. If you do not show up, you're losing a customer who's already like mentally bought your product. Compare is sort of user in a confusion state where they are comparing between two brands. So you must show up on these query. You must own this narrative. Fit is something broad. We'll call it traditionally, kind of top of the funnel or mid funnel, where user is sort of understanding what products to buy and trying to understand the product category more deeper. So if someone is looking to buy a mattress, that person is looking to buy, okay, do I need a hybrid mattress? Do I need a memory foam mattress? How thick should be mattress? What should be the firmness for lower back pain? What do chiropractors recommend? What do physiotherapists recommend? What is people's experience? And this is where they're trying to shortlist the brands. So if you're showing up on this, you should start showing up on this. And if you're owning all these queries, then you should start focusing on these areas, because then you become an industry leader owning the queries all across the board. Let's see if we have more prompts. Yeah, Akshay, do you have any questions?
Yeah, as you were talking about the buyer, my question is, why is understanding buyer intent is more valuable than tracking a few branded prompts for any brand?
Can you say that again?
Why is understanding buyer's intent is more valuable than tracking few branded prompts for AI visibility?
I mean, look, AI visibility, every person has a different writing style. So they're going to type different kind of prompts. No matter how much data you collect at a different level, there are going to be so much unique prompts. So ultimately, someone needs to create a mechanism to consolidate the prompts. And even after the prompts are consolidated, eventually they're going to fall in these categories, because we are helping businesses make more revenue. So the focus is not really on how many unique prompts and how accurate the data is. The play here is how accurately we are able to map the intent and show up business in the game. Most of the people are forgetting the, tracking a most accurate prompt is not going to get them business, but when the product shows up for, user intent, that's where the business and visibility happens. So we are trying to map the events, and that's where we're trying to win. And we also try to, get the volumes here, like what is a high level volume for this, and we're going to make more improvements into this, getting these queries accurate over a period of time, so that we get volumes for each layer of the game.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, this feature goes live today. It's already live, in fact, and people can start testing this. We are open for feedback. We are very good. We are very good with our support. So if you have any questions, queries, would like to discuss, send us a note at help@erlin.ai, or if you are already in the dashboard, you can raise a help request. That's all from me. Thank you very much.